Hey beautiful weirdos, I am back again with another ghost story and makeup look for Valentine's Day. I thought I would do something a little bit fun, a little outside the normal. So I did something bright and colorful, and I have just the ghost story for you. Wait till you hear this one. So today I'm going to do a Valentine makeup look and tell you guys a ghost story, because what's better than a creepy ghost story and makeup for Valentine's? I know, a little weird, but that's me. I'm a weirdo. It's okay. So weirdos, come along and join me for this one today. So today I'm talking about the Sloss Furnaces in Birmingham, Alabama. In the Civil War times, Colonel Jones Withers Sloss hired people to work on blast furnaces. They were transforming coal and ore into hard steel. And this was a very popular job. It was very hard work for very low pay, and it was incredibly dangerous. It often led to deaths by incineration, and I'm going to tell you more about that. The main story, though, is going to be about a gentleman by the name of James Slag Wormwood. He came along in the 1900s. James Slag, we're just going to go ahead and call him Slag. He was the foreman in charge of the graveyard shift. And he was a not cool dude. He was all about giving orders and, just a very controlling boss. He disregarded safety, and his workers were literally just slaves to him. Also took risks to improve production, but not in a good way. He pretty much ran his workers into the ground. And by doing this, it evidently led to a lot of deaths under his name. Workers were pushed beyond their limits. We're talking lack of sleep, no breaks, low visibility, working in extreme temperatures exceeding 120 degrees in the shop or in the furnaces. They were working in exhaustion, and it was just really, really bad conditions for these men. A lot of the workers were mostly immigrants that recently immigrated to the United States. Oftentimes, these workers were living on the same grounds as the furnace. So they could literally be forced to come back to work at any moment. Any moment that he decided they needed to come back. Every inch of the Sloss furnaces every inch of the Sloss furnaces held danger to the workers. From the catwalk to the tunnel to the furnaces and to the wheel. Every precarious step could have, and often did, lead to their death. The most ghastly death that may have been one of the worst befell a worker who was on his lunch break. He was sitting near a large flywheel used to power the scalding boilers. He leaned a little too far and the flywheel caught his clothing and slowly pulled him in. Devastating workers could only stand by and watch as every slow turn they saw less and less of their friend. It was awful. There was also a explosion at Sloss in 1888, killed 6 workers when a small blowing engine house exploded. But eventually, Slag would come to his own demise on the grounds. In October of 1906, James Slag Wormwood lost his footing atop one of the highest blast furnaces, known as Big Alice. He plummeted into a pool of iron ore, and his body melted instantly. It was reported that he must have gotten dizzy from the methane gas that was coming from the furnaces, and he slipped and fell or lost his balance. However, during his entire time working there, all those years, he never stepped anywhere near those furnaces. He would not go up there. Many people believe that the workers had finally had enough and fed him to the furnace. However, no workers were ever charged or brought to trial for it. So either they're really good at covering up their stories, or that's not how it happened at all. It's remained a mystery all these years. Slag incident ended the graveyard shift, citing that there were numerous accidents and strange incidents. The legend of Slag grew each year after that, with reports of an unnatural presence and increasing encounter with it during their shifts. Souls such as that, or dying of such a traumatic way, could easily cause angry spirits. So we'll see. Starting with some of the reports that have been made. A night watchman in 1926 sustained injuries after being pushed from behind. And hearing a deep voice telling him to get back to work. Of course, the night watchman searched the grounds to see who could be there that wasn't supposed to be there, and he realized that there was nobody else there besides him. There are a lot of reports of physical paranormal activity. In 1947, 3 supervisors, now this one's really weird. I don't know how much I believe this one. In 1947, let me get the makeup off my lip because that looks weird. There. 3 supervisors that were on the grounds were they turned up missing, and later they were found unconscious, locked in a room on the grounds. super weird. Yeah, all three of them were locked in the room together, and they were unconscious when they were found. I guess somewhere in a small boiler room in the southeast portion of the plant. None of them could really tell what happened, other than they all stated that they were approached by a severely burned man who angrily shouted at them to push some steel. And then somehow they ended up unconscious and locked in that room. I don't really know what to make of that one. I really don't. It's very bizarre. I'm not saying that, you know, it couldn't happen or that it wasn't paranormal. It's just really bizarre. However, probably the most horrifying of all of them is an incident that took place in 1971. A man named Samuel Blumenthal, and his story is pretty well known. I recognized it when I was doing the research, and only because I know a lot of ghost adventures, not ghost adventures, I mean obviously them, but a lot of ghost hunters have covered this story in their research from investigating. So in 1971, Samuel Blumenthal was a night watchman, and this was just before the furnaces were shut down and closed. So he was nostalgically walking around, taking his last look at things on his watch, when he came face to face with the most frightening thing he had ever seen. He described it simply as evil. He said it was half man and half demon. How freaking scary is that? Can you imagine coming face to face with something like that? Gives me chills. So he said that it tried to push him up the stairs, and when he refused, it started to beat him. Like, oh no. No. And he was beaten really severely. I'm not sure if he eventually got up and left and went to the hospital, or how, you know, if he was found. I really couldn't find any information on that. But he was examined by a doctor Jack Barlow, and Blumenthal was found covered in intense burns. Coincidence? I think not. Unfortunately, he died before ever being able to return to the grounds. I certainly would not be coming back after that. Nope. Couldn't pay me enough. I'd be like, I experienced my paranormal activity. I'm good. See you later. So over the years, there have been over 100 reports of suspected paranormal activity at Sloss Furnaces. And almost all of these have been recorded at the Birmingham Police Department. You can find the records there. Several paranormal teams have also investigated the Sloss Furnaces over the years. I'm not going to mention all of them, but I'm going to mention a few. but it's definitely worth checking out some of their footage and their investigation on the Sloss Furnaces. So in 2002, a team from CBS affiliates WJTV, they were a bit skeptical of the paranormal activity at the furnaces, and they came to investigate things. And they would leave the grounds being very frazzled and no longer skeptical. They were quite convinced that the grounds were haunted, and they left with some really incredible footage, which you can find on their site. And then on October 4th of 2003, another assault happened on the grounds, this time to a team member of an investigative team. His name was Josh Thomas, who actually once worked at the Sloss Furnaces. While doing the investigation, he suddenly caught fire. He suddenly caught fire after he seen a strange shape on the grounds. He suffered burns to his whole body and was taken to the hospital. Like, these ghosts are not messing around. Y'all just need to stop going there. Honestly. Oddly enough, it was almost the anniversary of the Samuel Blumenthal burn attack. So, you know, that's odd. So anyways, that is pretty much all I got. I did see when the Ghost Adventures went to the Sloss Furnaces, and I know a lot of the metal was obviously very deteriorated over the years, but it was like walking on tightropes. The metal was twisted, and it was fragile, and it was these super skinny catwalks up to these really high positions, and I can't even imagine what these men were going through on a daily basis having to work there. I would be absolutely terrified if that was me. So huge credit to them. Zach and his crew were crazy as hell to go into some of those places that were off limits and investigate. But the hauntings at this place are out of this world. To have such physical paranormal activities happening is unbelievable. So I hope you guys enjoyed this ghost story, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Valentine's Day, whatever that might look like for you. And if you guys have any suggestions for my next ghost story or stories you'd like me to cover, please leave them down in the comments so I can see what you guys are interested in. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. I always appreciate it. Happy Valentine's, loves. The death of Slag ended the night. The incident of